Chapter 105 Preliminary Round. In the process of being checked by the clown. White: Hey Black, any ideas for a pre-story? Black: I'm trying to think of one, but you decided not to sleep much last night, so there's serious sleep deprivation going on here. White: But I had to get up at 9 a.m. to see if I could make bear steaks for breakfast. Black: And you were the same one who stayed up until 4 a.m., did you even get to make those steaks in the end? White: No, he listened to my message and didn't go back to the hot springs again. Honestly, asking for an extension to go to the hot springs, if I ever told the leechers, they'd eat him alive. Black: You're too cruel sometimes. White: Are you sure you aren't more deserving of the black armor than me? White: We both know that's not true. There's a good reason you're the one in the black armor. Black: Evil aura never forget that. White: Oh, quiet you. Now go get Gray, we'll need him to sit and edit this chapter for us. Black: We haven't let Silver stretch his legs in a while. Gray: I know, isn't it great? White: Seriously, I hate having to do the paperwork whenever he gets out. Well, go do chapter 105. Gray, the people are waiting for your faster-paced editing. I don't have the time for full edits right now with what's going on tomorrow. Gray: Last exam. White: Last exam. Gray: Got it. White: I'll do it. Asterisk: The colored samurai leave the room, leaving a lone samurai at a desk with a quill, 4 hours, alone. The duty of the diligent Gray. Asterisk. White: Hey Gray, don't write anything to glorify yourself either in the pre-story piece. All right. Asterisk: His epic and rapid handcraft allowed this untold hero to quickly complete any task. His humble nature knowing no equal under the heavens. While the battlefields raged upon the soils of foreign lands, one samurai knew his purpose to lead the nation to greater prosperity. Asterisk. White: I knew you were going to do that. Gray, just work. Chapter 105, Preliminary Round. Following up after the audience of the monsters living in Jura Forest, the greetings with the emissaries of the neighboring countries were carried out smoothly. Even though the emissaries were gathered in unfamiliar garb, the banquet was held without issue. And that's good. The truth of the matter is, I received no more than a greeting from the emissaries. Matters of negotiation and demand were conducted mostly by Meyer Miles and Rigurdo, who then filled me on the details. Seems like they've got a tacit agreement not to let people bother me with these matters directly. They really live up to my expectations. Frankly, even if someone did ask for my backing, I could only respond with a is that so, type of statement. Personally, I think that for the sake of future relations we should support anyone who asks, but those guys probably figured that this is my position and prevented it from becoming public. Don't go around making thoughtless promises. Or something like that. Truly, whether it's something we can or cannot do aside, we simply don't have the manpower to apply such regulatory policy. Thoughtlessly increasing the workload would probably make it unmanageable even for me. I mean, it always seems to me that things are going so well, that I might have been getting naive lately. Since speaking to me was forbidden for most emissaries, the only ones I actually got to have a conversation with were the Hero King of the Dwarves and the King of Burmund. Yesterday, when the King of Burmund came for the meeting proposal, he also apologized about the Elven incident. It wasn't anything formal though, just a simple apology. Promising to strengthen future management, making sure that our agreements are held up is his form of indirectly apologizing. Despite being a small kingdom, the king himself came dependent on the invitation. This would have probably been enough as an apology. The Dwarf King arrived yesterday around noon. It seems he arrived during the day to look around at the development of our town. He's been rather enthusiastically observing the sewage and drainage systems we have in place. In addition, while the facilities under construction were mentioned, he was eager about the prospect of the railway system. Since he was constantly running about observing our various technological advancements, we ended up losing out on a majority of the time we had to talk. However, Last night when I acted as the ornament at the feast, he decided to speak to me. It's been a while slime Rimuru, no, Rimurudano. This beer is great by the way. By all means I must have you teach me how to brew this, ahahaha. I was more or less expecting him to talk to me at some point, but for alcohol to be the way he broke the ice. I suppose it fits a dwarf, however, liquor isn't his purpose. He drank a lot, but he certainly didn't have the eyes of the drunkard. Since there are other countries present, he couldn't say it in public. He'll probably bring it up later, so I didn't press for it or anything. Whether the other emissaries were avoiding talking to me or whatnot, no one else approached, so I thoroughly enjoyed talking with the Dwarf King. Most of the emissaries are of minister's social class. To interrupt a king of a major power, is something they are unlikely do. Moreover, some are just terrified to talk to me. The exterminations of the Pharma's Kingdom army has long since become an international fact. My power is no longer subject to any doubt and is well known to be something no nation could readily deal with. Since that's the case, I would suppose it would take some serious courage to attempt a conversation. As for the merchants, they are mere commoners. Even if there are nobles among them, they lack the social standing to speak. Certainly not in front of the whole delegations. In the end, the only person that can call out to me, without my initiative, is the Dwarf King. Thus, we chatted on the most pointless topics until finally ending the conversation. The Dwarf King intended to show the other emissaries that our two nations are on friendly terms, no doubt. As a result, shrewd opportunists would find value in conducting business in me rather than just another demon lord. This is the support of the Dwarf King. Well, he probably also calculated the amount of wealth that will flow into the Dwarf Kingdom once Tempest is developed, but I am still thankful nevertheless. We weren't able to discuss any important matters yesterday, but I was able to have a good time. Unchecked past this points. Now, the night has passed and the sky has grown clear and blue. The rain clouds of yesterday have blown away to form this wonder of weather we are having. The arena for the fighting tournament is complete. 10,000 spectators from all corners of the continent to watch the battles. Overhanging roof mechanisms for the purpose of blocking sunlight are installed at the spectator areas. The roofs at the spectator areas are semicircular skeletal frames with a thin film stretched over them. Fancy elaborate ideas are used to form a eerie atmosphere, if I do say so myself. Nobody will think that the purpose of this is actually just to block sunlight. Surprised cries are raised unanimously. It's probably due to this eerie sight. It seems amongst them are some weirdos who were excited instead. The spectator venues have all been filled, the seats packed. Meyer Miles handled the arrangements, I invited the audiences, there are no blunders or oversights. If the battles were to end too early, a tour of the dungeon has also been planned as a side attraction. Guiding 10,000 people is a worrying task, but this can be distributed amongst the citizens of Tempest. Leave it to me. Behind the scenes, I'm working earnestly in various ways. Stores are opening outside the arena, classic menus such as skewered meat and yakisoba are on sale. There's even shaved ice on sale in some of the shops. I was surprised and amazed by how much has been prepared. Ah, I want to eat yakisoba. I began to recall memories, but I wonder what it is. Well, that's how it is, I suppose. During my various conversations with various cooks and people, I was able to convey my memories of the various foods due to thought transmission, but reproduction of taste is rather difficult. No, if I make full use of my analysis skills, I should be able to reproduce its spirit. Since wheat can be grind into powder, reproducing it was unexpectedly easy. Even sushi was successfully reproduced, there's nothing to fear. The audience surrounded the ground-level section of the arena. At the entrance there were large stone tiles that were used to pave the ground. Processing the 2-meter squares was a rather tasking challenge, but they were carefully laid in a pattern similar to a checkerboard. The gaps are filled with an impact-absorbent material with additional adhesive properties, giving it the appearance of a large slab of rock. Since I spread a soft film of magic over it, its durability was increased. Even if it's ordinary solid rock, it's 300 harder than concrete. The material spread over this layer is 10,000 times harder than concrete. It's 2 m thick. I was surprised at how its durability is comparable to nuclear shelters. There's no need to even test it. I'm confident that it would be able to take a direct hit from a nuclear strike, especially after a certain bad cook had a try at breaking it. There's no difference between the two in my mind anymore. Since it's physically durable, with the aid of magic, we'll be able to construct structures that are hard to destroy. A magic formation is inscribed onto the floor, and a battlefield is formed. Since it would also be used for combat training in the future, it covers a considerably large area. The magic formation extends to the audience venue. It's a large-scale magic. In the inside of the circle, a smaller circle with a diameter of 500 meters is drawn. This is the stage of the fighting tournament. Inside the visible double barrier, there's actually far more though, is where the fighting tournament will be held. This time, we asked for the cooperation of the Holy Knights, and a holy barrier has also been erected. Making sure that the audience didn't end up getting splattered by the contestants is something I thought of early on. Through a prevention barrier, power limitation has not been activated. Since magical energy has not been sealed, there's the risk of disturbance caused by a high magic output, but that's been suppressed by one of my personal barriers. My ultimate skill, the Covenant King Uriel, the absolute barrier. In reality this alone would have sufficed, but since I didn't want to show it thus I decided to invoke the holy barrier to disguise it. I think those present didn't notice it. Since its activation period is an instant, it was preempted to be activated at the moment when an attack capable of destroying the holy barrier is unleashed. If this is only for precaution there shouldn't be any problems. We haven't been expecting it, but we even took precautions against holy type attacks. There will be no problems. The whole arena is filled to the brim with excitement. That's to be expected, it's one of my carefully laid out plans after all. It seems like fighting tournaments also exist in this world, but not up to the scale here. It would seem that the Ingrasia Kingdom hosts one each year. The champion is granted a various reward depending on the tier. Participants are ranked based on their adventurer status. I had failed to notice this during my stay due to incorrect timing, however, this usually utilities the royal training ground, just a kind of revelry. Well, the amount of seats within the arena are limited in the end. Since I haven't come up with any form of levitating chairs or monitor systems, the general visitors can catch a glimpse by watching from rooftops, various vantage points, or actually climbing the pillars of the arena itself. Since screens are fixated on 4 sides, making it possible for a live close-up view of the battle. Through the use of optics magic, expanding a projection is a simple task. Since I'm using magic tools, it's not troublesome. It's also good publicity. I'm not one to neglect such opportune business in such a place. I was determined by my nature as a true businessman at heart. Well, it's about time. I stood up, and spoke to the microphone at hand. Rimuru the Meek. Nice to meet you all. I am the one known as the Demon Slime Demon Lord, Rimuru Tempest. Ah, forget it, putting on airs is too troublesome. Yo, I am of the 8-star Demon Lords, a pleasure to be in your acquaintance. Today, I am grateful that you would take the time to respond to the invitation of our country. In the future, I do plan on hosting a variety of events such as this one, so please do enjoy your first visit. I wish to live in peace and harmony with you all, so please do avoid causing me any trouble in the future. Instead of humans and monsters constantly bickering with one another, I do think that a cooperation with more profitable interests is a far better future than one of destruction. While I'm aware that there are many who are yet wary of my identity as one of the 8-star Demon Lords, I do honestly think hard on making a good impression, you see. I don't wish to impose my desires upon any of you all. If you would do your best to end your conflicts with monsters, I would certainly be pleased. If you don't wish to, well, I suppose it can't be helped. It would be your nation's task to handle the responsibility for such matters. I don't see any reason to attack a nation who refuses to cooperate, though those who do are certainly held in a better light. Just as we're monsters doesn't hold any reason as to breaking past such mindless discrimination. There's no difference between us on any grounds. Should a war ever be started in the name of subjugation of monsters, please do note that not a single life will be spared. The earth would be turned to glass and the rulership of the nation laid to waste upon the most devastating of torture for years until their souls would be shattered by the intense measure of their crimes. Please do know that I am one of peace. These words might come out as threats, but they are only my honest feelings for a lasting peace. I do really detest war, it is quick and violent, but I will never hesitate when the need arises. I wish to live my eternity in peace. These words are also my own thoughts. From this tournament today, I do hope that you of the various nations finally come to comprehend the level of our fighting forces. I have offered up my heads of state and chiefs of staff for the sake of this tournament. The representatives of various nations and organizations have come to participate as well. My main purpose here today to convey these words unto you. I pray you all make a wise decision, receive it and consider them as the open remark. Was it too straightforward? Whatever. After all, after my rise, I must give my greetings to the nobles and royalties. However, even so, here and there in the venues, spare applauds are taking place. It isn't just my subordinates, there are influential people, merchants, and also individuals I am not acquainted with within the mix. Now I'm happy with it, though at first I believed it was a little too ominous. My intentions have been conveyed. How will people react to it afterwards? That's all there is to it. Thus, while not exactly grand, the fighting tournament was kicked off by the applause from the whole venue. Well then, the format of this tournament is a battle royal. Even with the recent string of dropouts amongst the applicants, there are still a total of 150 applicants remaining. Because 3 participants are needed for the main match, they must be selected amongst the 150 individuals. As this is the case, we'll have it so that 50 people will participate within each division. Thus the 3 champions from each of the 3 divisions will find themselves in the final match. The 1 game was planned for the morning, and 2 in the afternoon. Well, even if it's called a game, it's still a battle royal. Luck is an important factor. I divided the registration time for the separate groups. Cooperation amongst participants are possible, however only one person will have the right to advance. Now then, what will happen? Amidst the excitement, the first match began. The contestants entered towards the center. Everyone gave off the pressure of the strong. There are 2 familiar faces within the group. The Gozu and the Mizu. Somehow, even when they applied on opposite sides of the arena, they still ended up in the same group. Well, these 2 aren't going to be rising to glory anytime soon, but they are fairly strong. Let's just use the one who wins between the 2 as the boss of floor 30. If they want, I'll allow it to be a shift system. Well, this will also depend on the strength of that individual. The 2 defeated the monsters around them and are in an unparalleled state. There are several A-class monsters amongst them, but there are also the higher races. Their faces are being projected. Then, after wiping out all the monsters around them, only the 2 were left. Not even 10 minutes has passed. The audiences are very excited at the fierce competition between the monsters. After all, it's a rare opportunity to watch monsters of our level fight so close up. Mesu and Gozu stared at each other, and began insulting each other. Gozu. Oh puny Mizu, we should have settled this between you and I in the first place. Finally, our long-lasting fates will end today, prepare yourself. Mizu. Those are foolish words only capable of coming from a Gozu. The ones working under Rimuru-sama will be we, the Mizu. You can vanish into seclusion and live a life without regrets. And, the 2 suddenly began fighting. Just like that, the opening act has ended, and the 2 became the highlight of the stage. They are both the power types, fighting a fierce battle between axe and spear, both with a shield in hand. Rather than using black arts, they are more suited with fighting with their physicality. TN note, the original word was ijutsu, magic is meijutsu /ma/. An axe was swung with all their might, and was repelled by a shield. With their stance destroyed, a short spear strikes within a split second with ease, and backs off. It took only 10 minutes for the two to be the only remainders, yet this exchange of blows and blocks waged on another 20 minutes. This 100-year war they fought doesn't seem to be over anytime soon. The audience was lost in the fascination of the fierce battle between the two. Well, that's to be expected, a battle between A ranks isn't something you'll normally see in a lifetime. It was a brilliant fight, and the battle is prolonged due to their well-matched abilities. It's an interesting battle, but the match ended with a sudden twist. Gozu. This is the end. The results are in. Gozu threw a large axe with all his might. A strike that can shatter boulder used in order to take down his opponent. However, Mizu laughed fearlessly. Right before his charge, he paused for just a moment. The large axe holding the large axe now danced through the air, the left arm with it. However, Mizu dove into the chest of Gozu, and readied an unavoidable lunging posture. Sacrificing his left arm, in exchange for victory. When Mizu was certain about his victory. Gozu. Too naive. Lighting horn. After crying this out loud, the horns atop his head suddenly head-butted the right side of Mizu's head. His horns doubled in length, piercing through Mizu's right eye and arm. This was the decisive factor of the game. Due to the attack from his right, the trajectory of the rush missed. Furthermore, when he was attacked by the horns, he suffered additional lightning damage, boiling his blood. Gozu is the victor. Well, I mean, is Mizu alive still after that one? I suppose to be unwary of those overly suspicious and large horns, Mizu only has himself to blame for this. And of course, Mizu has survived. I'll win next time. He yelled threateningly. He seems fine, however, the game has already been decided. The winner of the first match is Gozu. He is deserving as the first winner. It was a great match. After the noon break ended, the second match began. Above all, it seems the food stalls were well received. There are also those back in town who have been eating in horse carriages. Each individual is different. Now then, the players of the second round have entered. Ah! I almost cried out loud. Since I understood this match will be over in an instant. After all, I saw a certain three-man group. A tall slim person, with firm muscles. A big, bulky person, with armor-like muscles. A person with a build that should be called fat rather than large. They are the sons of Dagruel that I met during the Valpurgis banquet once. They had magical energy on par with the old demon lords. Though since their techniques were subpar, they were easily twisted around by Shin with ease. However, in this preliminary round they're overwhelming. They're even comparable to Gozu and Mizu in regards to being overwhelming. Or rather, those three are on the level of the main match. Though they weren't trained previously, I suppose I won't be able to be too careless around them if or once they're trained. Something like that might actually be rather dangerous. They've powered up to such an extent in such a short amount of time. I suppose it has something to do with the clothes they're wearing, but... Demon Trio. We're Shin's bodyguards. What nonsense are you saying? Because that's what I heard letter for letter. Somehow, are you all right? I wanted to question them thoroughly, however it seems the intellectual secretary/cool beautician doesn't know anything about this. They've probably been complexly deceived by her appearance. Or, perhaps they've just awakened to their masochistic nature after being beaten. If that's the case, I don't want to know any more. The results are as I anticipated. Let alone 5 minutes, they defeated everyone else in a minute. The elder was the one who won. He seems to be the strongest amongst the three. As such, it seemed like the second match ended with no highlight in this fashion, but that was not the case for the audience. There was an enthusiastic, excited atmosphere in the arena. Let alone A rank, there are Demon Lord class fighting forces. The merchants and emissaries from various nations were able to judge the extent of both the physical and magical power of those participating. It goes with their profession of needing to have an eye for talent. Most probably didn't even need to use any particular skills for this either. I shouted something from the unanimous excitement. After shouting so much, tonight's beer is going to taste great. After some excitement because of the tournament becoming a great success, it finally came to the final match. I looked at the contestants. Remarkably, there are also humans, but they're not holy knights. Will they be all right? Rimuru. Oi, I see humans down there. Will they be all right? I listened to Meyer Miles, who was by my side. Meyer Miles. Ah, well, I suppose they must be famous adventurers. Apparently some of the A-rank adventurers from the Ingrasia Kingdom's fighting tournaments. It was some warrior from the west with his party that was saying something about doing whatever it took to subdue a demon lord. Rimuru. Hoo, and am I to suppose this demon lord would be me? Meyer Miles. Could that be so? At any rate, they haven't actually said why they must win the tournament, but simply said that they needed to join it. I accepted them since there weren't any rules against preventing people from participation. Each one paid the entry fee of 20 silver coins. I don't know if he's the real deal, but there is mention of him being a hero and quite the strong individual. Perhaps I could compare him to the leader of the Holy Knights. The leader, comparable to Hinata? That youngster? That's impossible. Donning an armor of shining gold, his body was white all over. With long gold hair braided at the back, he seems really popular. 5 people surrounded him protecting him. It looks just like the party of a hero. Though it would be interesting if it was the real thing. The match begins. The hero was fortunate enough to be in a party, giving him overwhelming advantages as they struck with excellent attacks. I looked towards the audience venue. Crowd number 1. Hey, isn't that the hero of the West? Crowd number 2. Oh. Masayuki-sama. It's the hero of the West, Masayuki-sama. Crowd number 3. As expected, with such an elegant swordsmanship, and such a beautiful fighting style. Such things are heard. Masayuki? That name sounds rather Japanese. I observed him carefully and noticed something. It's a wig. That golden hair is a wig. This isn't the right time. Elegant swordsmanship, he hasn't begun fighting with his sword yet. The surrounding people have been active, but he hasn't done anything yet. In the meantime, the match has been decided. The winner is the hero who hasn't done anything. His friends kneeled before Masayuki, and the hero makes it to the final. Are you okay? You aren't a bluffing brat, are you? I will not be pleased if some noble brat just scummed his way into the final match. There have been cheers from the crowd. This popularity seems to be a little worrying. If I do nothing but simply evaluate him, this battle could get dangerous. Will he be all right? I'm a little worried for the hero Masayuki. In the end, this was how the preliminary rounds ended and how the final 3 contestants for the main tournament have been gathered. White's Corner. So, here I am again, editing a slime chapter. /o/. Much faster than last time though. We'll not talk about that. What we can talk about is the trouble I was put through by a certain bear. Making me wait, pushing the deadline back several times. Leechers, consume the bear. But leave me a steak. In all seriousness, there is only one way for redemption that I can see. The bear must bring another chapter before us, either 107 or 108, since Gurotan apparently did 106 already. Exam tomorrow, not cleaning that one, at least not right now. Now then, Smoggy, will you refrain from your hot springs, or do I need to get silver out here? Black. White, be reasonable, the poor bear's going to go into early hibernation if you let any more of your demonic heavens hacky loose. White. True, well then. To all readers, enjoy the chapter. White. Smoggy. Sigh. Smoggy, now mentally weakened after a night of nightmares, it involves a chase sequence featuring an army of leeches and a white katana-wielding demon, immerses in the warm waters of the hot springs, feebly humming faint dream, inanimate dream. Another one. Fine, I'll do 108, but not today. Give me a break, I just wanted to share with someone about my mini hot spring trip after handing in my mini stack of papers humans call assessments. What? You think only Clown San and White San have work, and White San's been acting like a meanie ever since. I think he's jealous. To my defense, I said by the weekends, not Saturday. Sigh. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 106 Tournament Finals Part 1. Tournament Finals Part 1. Last night's drinking was too extreme. Of course, not for me. No matter how much I drink, I don't get drunk. At a time like that, I think it might be best not to have poison nullification. After all, it's possible the food or drink could be poisoned. But I think everyone in there more or less had some poison resistance. Oh well. I just pretended to be drunk. After all, I just liked the act of drinking itself. The ones who drank too much were the invited guests. It seems they couldn't forget the excitement of the battle they saw during the day. They all kept talking about it and drank late into the night. As a result, everyone looked exhausted heading over to the Colosseum the next morning. In the Colosseum, all of the contestants assembled, forming a line at the center. Or rather than a line, it was a linked circle. They stood in while facing the audience. On the large monitor, the contestants were projected on the screen one by one. Their appearance came out nicely. In front of the contestants, I greeted everyone through the mic. By the way, I didn't call Feldera out since yesterday. I don't dare to call him out while he's engrossed in making the underground labyrinth dungeon. If he starts raging again it will be troublesome, and at the same time that dangerous fellow might also come with him. If Milan comes, surely she will want to participate in the tournament. I don't think that she will be satisfied just sending in a substitute. For that reason, today's commentary will be performed by me alone. First thing first, the contestant introductions. I send the signal and the contestants were introduced one at a time. The large screen changed for the introduction of each contestant that will be battling today. First, the people who won yesterday's battle royal, those 3 people were introduced. As the representative of Sui's subordinates, the Drago Nutsuka took on the role as the announcer. She gave a brief commentary about the contestants that will participate in today's match. Well then, shall we begin? First was the Gozu. This guy. I gave him a name, Gozural. It was because he came out victorious yesterday and as my praise for him. After he received the name, my magic power decreased, although it decreased only to the extent that he could grow a little. However, he was formerly a high A rank. His race also evolves as Jihoki 1. The way his power now gushed from him, he felt like a completely different person than he was yesterday. He has acquired a unique skill Restrainer 2 and an extra skill Self-Regeneration X. Although he didn't receive additional special abilities or skills, his physical power was greatly enhanced. Unique skill Restrainer's ability was to create a space where he could put a restraint on what ability can be used in that space. However, if the other party didn't agree with it, the restraint in that space will be cancelled. It was ability with bad usability. Although it might be possible to force the opponent to agree with it, but I think that depends on who the opponent was. If it's an opponent of the same rank, it won't work. Perhaps, just like Holy Barrier, that space creates a rule where skills can't be used, but I speculate that physical ability will still be effective. It was an interesting idea. Since I think it could be useful, if I think of ways to use it, I didn't forget to absorb it with Covenant Lord Uriel. Because it was under the Space Series, it was easy to add it. First, the champion of the yesterday's first match, Gozaurl. By stopping the 100 years conflict, he received right to participate in this match. His power gives rise to a new wind that can sweep over Tempest. Sukka spoke the words merrily. Don't turn around. Since she's cute, the audience became excited. With the tail, the wings, and the horn, there was no problem labeling her as cute. Furthermore, Gozaurl is a champion from the underground labyrinth dungeon that Tempest is proud of. Pay attention to his strength. And for those who are confident that they can beat him, please head towards the labyrinth. She said it in high spirits. She even advertised the labyrinth. Because it's not open to the public yet, it can't be considered a labyrinth yet. Oh well, after seeing its power, I don't know if there will be a challenger for the labyrinth. I have no idea how the first match will turn out. Even after being advertised like this, he might be defeated quickly. However, I already thought that. If he got defeated, then his challenger will get an additional monetary reward. Well, it depends on his opponent. Everything will be decided by the lot. Next, Dagura. The eldest of Dagruel's 3 sons. I received greetings from Dagura, Ryura, and Deborah at the same time of the report of yesterday's victory. I've been told that their father, Dagruel, sent them to this country so they could learn various things. We will do anything, even the chores. Please give us your permission to stay in this country, Demon Lord Rimuru-sama. The trio bowed their head together. Because it was troublesome, I decided to place them under Shin. It was their wish after all. They even wear clothes with Shin for life written on them. I knew that the reality was cruel, and it's only a matter of time before their illusion gets broken, but that was their way of life. Their power was dreadfully high. However, the eldest was the most balanced one among the 3, so he was quite strong. Next up is the champion of the second match, Dagura. Emitting his overwhelming aura alone, all of the evil spirits from the great Jura forest were blown away. His figure is certainly a masterpiece. If he becomes serious, who knows what will happen? How will such power fare against the executives 3 of Tempest? The anticipation is rising. During his introduction, Dagura waves his hand high. If compared with the quiet fighting spirit 4 of Gozaurl, I could sense a surplus of power. How high was the surplus power that he held? Just like before, I didn't speak anything to the executives. Then, the next one was the hero Masayuki 5. It would become clear in today's match whether this guy's abilities were the real deal or not. Although, it might be tomorrow as there are only 4 matches today, so it all depends on the lot. And now, the champion of yesterday's third match, Hiro Masayuki. No one could catch a glimpse at his magnificent sword technique. Because, at the same time his sword was unsheathed, the opponent was already dead 6. With overwhelming power he made his name renowned, the man who introduces himself as the young hero. There is no end of people who are fascinated by his sweet mask 7. They say with just one look at his eyes, no woman can resist falling for him. Masayuki. For those who have seen his previous battle, rejoice. Was it true? Was this guy really that popular? Or was Sukka just making stuff up for that publicity? If that's the case, she has an unexpected talent. Wasn't that mostly lies and backhanded compliments? What with that, Masayuki, announcement? If anyone took her words seriously, then I think there's something wrong with their heads. If he loses in the first round after that big speech, won't he be embarrassed? Maybe that was her plan. If so, that's just harassment. If it's Sukka, then without doubt it's high-class harassment 8. The remainders were special participants and the executives. Starting with Arnaud. Well then, let's continue the contestant introduction with the special participants. First introduction is for the Holy Knight Arnaud Baumann. The name of a man renowned as the strongest Holy Knight. After the zealous fight against our Tempest executives, a bud of friendship has bloomed. He aims for complete victory. The pride of a man doesn't allow a draw. To achieve his aims for complete victory, he will exhibit his true strength this time. Yes. An amazing ability, actually. Down the side of Arnaud's face, I see a sweat hanging on his forehead. 9. What was she talking about? It was completely unnecessary to say all of that. Now the pressure was on him to win. Suka, are you really a blood-sucking demon? The way you're cornering them was not something just anyone would do. As the little sister of the naturally airheaded Gable, I never imagined you could be so vicious. Next up, another special participant. His name is Damurita. Dispatched from a secret organization, he's a mysterious man. He aims to show off his combat prowess in this tournament. Will he able to display his power as a mercenary? The man who catches Demon Lord Rimuru-sama interest. Keep your eyes on him, everyone. No. I don't have the slightest interest in him. Also, what's the deal with the secret organization you speak of? Saying that while looking at me with that fearless smile. I'm glad there was no problem. I'm glad that even if the name gets found out it will be fine. Well, I had been warned about this, but I will stop it if it becomes a problem. Let's continue. Another special participant, a mysterious masked man routing the Colosseum. The unknown lion mask. Is he a champion of justice or an envoy of evil? Really, what kind of enchanting battle he will show us? By the way, there's a message from a certain anonymous person. I think you already know, but if you show a unsightly fight, prepare yourself. That what the person said? What does this message mean? I don't know, but it sounds fun. No, his fate was already sealed. Suka already knew that, but she still took pleasure in cornering him. I had no choice other than to pray for the cornered lion mask's fortune in the match. Continuing, the final special participant. The ultimate battle machine. In front of it, both holy and evil 10 hold no meaning. I have received a written introduction from an anonymous person. My Beretta is the strongest 11. That's all it says. However, isn't this its first real combat? How can it already be the strongest? I really don't understand, but anyway. This raises our anticipation even higher. No. I really didn't expect this, you know? She finished the forcefully overbearing introduction. Certainly, the people who know about the existence of Beretta were few, so its power was unknown. So there was nothing wrong in her words. Now then, from this point on the truly strong ones will make their appearance. The executives of Tempest. Each one's abilities are equal that of 1,000 warriors. First up, Go Buletin-ta. There are many who admire that nihilistic mask 12 of his, an elite warrior. Although he wished to have fame as a genius, he is the greatest of all young warriors. What kind of enticing battle will he show us this time? Stop that, Sue! Was probably what Gobuta's heart was screaming right now. His face also turned pale, you know. That was so, after all, he was in a sorry state similar to the half-killed lion mask-san. Oh, well. If Gobuta were desperate, he might become serious. The next contestant is Gable. Commander of the Hiryu 13, a warrior of the blue sky. Will his dragon's blood that flows in his body awaken an invincible warrior in him? By the way, he is my biological brother. Since father is watching, you can't show us a pathetic battle, you hear me? Ah. No mercy, even for her biological brother. Of course not, since her performance was to drive everyone into a corner. Since no one knows who's fighting who, I might actually get to see Gable unexpectedly awaken. And since it's true that a Bill was watching, I think I can look forward to it a little. That's it for the side show 14. Now we're on to the main show 15. Continuing the introduction, the High Orc Gerudo. Tempest Guardian Deity. A crucial guardian with impregnable defense. Did she just say sideshow? Certainly, the people after this were really strong. She changed her tone and went into her serious introduction mode. Contestant Hakura, Master of the Sword. Appointed as the Sword Art 16 instructor, he is also the one who trained us. Contestant Shin, Demon Lord Rimuru's #1 secretary. Fitting her intellectual appearance, she is a woman who can do anything. She not only protects Rimuru-sama, but also counsels him. It can be said that she has monopolized the position that is yearned by every woman. Hey? Was there some kind of secret dealing? I can't help but notice that Shin was nodding in satisfaction. Somehow or another, there was no mistake that some black dealings had been carried out here. Sui-sama. He is my superior, and a man-person of yearning. Everything he does is flawless, but there is nobody who knows his true strength. I'm sure this time too, he will surely show us a splendid and wonderful battle. Do you need to add Sama to Sui? Furthermore, her tone was serious but she was clearly blushing. Oh well, it's fine. Well then, the sole contestant in this tournament that is not a humanoid but a beast 17, Ranga. Reigning as Rimuru-sama's guard pet, a superior wolf that allows no one to come near. And now, the top favorite of this tournament, contestant Diablo. Needless to say, but no one has seen his true abilities in live combat. Will there be a contestant this time that can expose his secrets? Is there anyone in existence that can do it? It will be a match on whole new levels. Next contestant is the last contestant. Tempest Supreme Commander, contestant Benimaru. Among the subordinates of Demon Lord Rimuru-sama, his power is said to be the strongest, but just how strong is he? Rumor has it that he is equal in strength to Sui-sama, but is it true? It's time for the truth to be made clear in the eyes of the public. As expected, the last introduction was normal. But, who really is the strongest? I don't honestly know. Diablo, Ranga, Sui, Benimaru. In addition of the strong four, Shin and Beretta. Because they learned their techniques from Hakura, recently they have leveled up. Also, that lion mask, was the former Demon Lord Carrion-san, right? Against a former Demon Lord, how far can our executives fight? I'm really looking forward to it. As the introductions came to an end, lots were drawn and the matches were decided. Due to the number of participants, the match will be divided into 2 days. 4 matches on the first day and another 4 on the second day. Immediately after the lots were drawn, names were filled out on the tournament chart. The result. The first day. First match. Benimaru vs Gozaurl. Second match. Sui vs Dagura. Third match. Gobuta vs Hiro Masayuki. Fourth match. Gable vs Ranga. The second day. Fifth match. Arnaud vs Beretta. Sixth match. Lion Mask vs Diablo. Seventh match. Hakura vs Damurita. Eighth match. Gerudo vs Shin. That was the result. Because the matches were made fair and square by drawing lots, so there were no hard feelings, but Gable looked awfully pitiful. His unique skill, Tuner 18, would work fine if he was matched up against an opponent he can win against, but since his opponent was Ranga, it might be impossible to win. He wore an expression of hopelessness. I hope he will still work hard and show us his utmost best. And then there was Gobuta. If the hero really was the same rank as Hinata, Gobuta's chance of victory was non-existent. But as far as testing the hero's ability, Gobuta might be suitable for that. I also want him to work hard and perform his utmost best. After this, it will become a considerable great match that I want to see. By the way, Wisdom King Raphael had perfectly predicted the outcome of these matches. It didn't say anything, so it might be interesting. Because there was free will, there might be case where the contestant actions could overturn even 10.000 calculations, so it can't reach any conclusion. On the contrary, if the contestants were manipulated, then it could be possible to make a 100% perfect forecast. Well then, now, I somehow expected it, how the result will be. Without delay, the first match had begun. The first match, Benimaru vs Gozaurl. For some reason, they were just glaring at each other in the middle of the arena. Neither showed any response to Suka's begin. Phew, how lucky to be able to meet you in the first match. Benimaru-san, your reign as the Supreme Commander will end today. Today onwards shall be known as the era of Gozaurl-sama. Gozaurl was spouting remarks one after another. This was bad. After receiving a name and gains new powers, it seems he's become rather arrogant. Was this also a rebellion against me 19, or so I'd like to think, however. Please watch me, Rimuru-sama. I, Gozaurl, will become your new right hand. And if I do, then I shall take Shindano as my bride. He respectfully bows towards me, while declaring such things. To his remarks, Shin-sama is our bride. The crowd booed at him. It seemed that one section of the spectators were all crazy fans of Shin. Ah well. So foolish. Nothing I can do. Let the match begin. I understand, do the match seriously. I don't need foolish words. Since I said it into the mic, it echoed throughout the Colosseum. The spectators burst out in laughter. I guess they think this was just part of the show. Since I was being serious, I'm really thankful that they misunderstood. I was quite embarrassed. Begin. Once again, Suka declared. This time it began for real. Gozaurl made the first move. And thus, a large magic formation suddenly appeared on the ground. Take this. The position of Supreme Commander will be mine. Unique skill, Restrainer, executed. Oh, he sure wasted no time using it. It was not an ability that a fool can use. The magic formation that was drawn on the ground, was it a prevention against cancellation? I'm impressed. However, no matter how I see it, Benimaru was deliberately receiving that. Even when provoked to that extent, there was no sign of rage in him, quite different from his former self. After he was entrusted as the Supreme Commander of this country, Benimaru's short temper disappeared. And the now calm Benimaru was tremendously strong. If he fought against Hakura now, their swords would clash endlessly. It was after suppressing his physical strength to same level of Hakura. In other words, his sword skill was now at the same level as Hakura's. Without his short temper he can carefully listens to his opponent's words. Hence was his growth. Due to the restraining ability of Gozaurl's restrainer, skill, sorcery, and magic were prohibited 20. See the note. Wahahaha. I hear that your specialty is Inferno 21 attack, right? How's that? How does it feel to have your special technique sealed? Just hand over the Supreme Commander position to me now, and I might make you my Vice Commander. You can become my right hand, how about that? Gozaurl was too elated. 22. It seems to be a bad idea to hand out names so easily, since it seems that it could mass-produce idiots like him. Even if he's loyal to me, he didn't takes into consideration the power of his senpai, whom he should respect. However, it'd be different if said senpai was making a mistake. Even Diablo was polite when he meets with opponents that were weaker than him. Well, he's really frightening when he's angered, though his attitude is that he never underestimates anyone. Well then, how will Benimaru fight back? If this was before, the opponent will be killed at this stage. Thanks goodness it was only half killing. Believing he sealed off his opponent's ability, Gozaurl, who became too elated, he attacked Benimaru incessantly with his great axe. Since Benimaru's magic and other skills were sealed off, Gozaurl seemed to believe that he now had the upper hand in both power and speed. However, oi, is that the extent of your power? Do you have anything else besides that? 30 minutes will soon pass. Until that time, I allow you to attack as you like. Give it all you've got so you don't have any regrets later. 30 minutes. That was the match time I set beforehand. One match was about 30 minutes, it was something that I had consulted with Benimaru beforehand. So that means, for the sake of punctually, he's deliberately allowing his opponent to attack as he likes? I was nothing but astonished at the growth of Benimaru. Hey? Are you sleep-talking? You're just receiving all of my attacks since the truth is you can't do anything against them, am I right? Don't be a sore loser. Don't get carried away, chump. Goza Earl doesn't seem to realize the difference in their ability. It seems he still believes that he's attacking Benimaru one-sidedly. Goza Earl, above Benimaru in power and speed? No, that was wrong. That Benimaru, without me knowing, his abilities increased drastically. His maximum amount of energy magic power had probably increased a substantial amount. It was only because he suppressed his Yuki 23 that its increase went unnoticed. Wisdom King Raphael usually conducts measurement without failure, but I didn't hear anything even from him. And so, 30 minutes had elapsed. It's time. Benimaru mutters lazily as Goza Earl fell to his knees on the spot. In Benimaru's left hand was a katana with a crimson blade called Crimson Lotus Edge 24. Benimaru was only warding off the attacks from the Great Axe, but he counter-attacked after the 30 minutes passed. His right fist catches Goza Earl, needed with power to penetrate, he drives his fist into Goza Earl's solar plexus. With a single hit, the flow of his magic power was disarranged and Goza Earl was unable to stand. Even if he set up barriers, everything would be pierced instantly by that hit. It was an excellent and overwhelming victory for Benimaru. To correct your character it's necessarily to beat it into you again and again. Prepare yourself. Goza Earl fainted after hearing those words. And the first match came to an end. Note, mainly trivia. 1 Jaihoki, written, in kanji, as Ox Demon Race read, Furigana, as Jaihoki. 2, equals Gente Isha, Seda Marumono, can be translated as decider, establisher, limiter, restrictor, restrainer. Tell me what's better name for his unique skill. 3 Kenbutachi, top brass, upper echelons. In clown translation is department heads. 4 By the way this not Toki but Taoshi, more like will to fight than fighting spirit as Toki is used in this series. 5 Yuusha, equals hero, Mauu's influence, hero is for Aiu by the way. 6 Suka uses Shinda. But it's alright everyone they are not dead literally. 7 She means his face. 8. Kowtauna Iyagaris. 9 The legendary sweat drop. 10 Double meaning Ma, equals demon/evil and magic. 11 I knew it, Ramaris is Cerno in disguise. Indeed. 12 Suka comment his face too. 13. Flying dragons, Hiriuu. 14 Zenza, equals minor performer, side character. 15 Shinuki, equals star performer, main character. 16 Kenjutsu. 17. Hitogata, equals human type/humanoid, Kimono Gata, equals beast type. The others are bipedal, only Renga is quadrupedal. 18 Trivia, Gable's unique skill tuner, Chao Shisha, can be translated as matter of chance/person easily elated. Also a person that follows the flow of the situation. 19 Yup Rebellion, Hang Yaku like Hang Yaku no Lelich. 20. Tsukairuya Yujitsu, Mahu no Kinshi Dita, equals normally can be translated as skill, sorcery, and magic were prohibited, but Yujitsu can also be translated as monster/yukai art/techniques but can also mean sorcery. 21. Enetsu, choose one rather than Inferno if you want from these equals blazing fire/flame/heat, intense fire/heat/blaze/flame, sweltering heat, extreme heat/fire/flame/blaze. 22 Tukaki. Carried away. 23 Demonic aura. 24 Gurren Meru. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible.